Welcome to the fourth and final section of our Level 1 Financial Freedom Seminar. In this section, we're going to cover net worth and debt payoff. We're going to show you a tried and true debt payoff method that's going to give you easy wins to start compounding your early debt payoff process. Of course, we're also going to bleed into the aspect of getting a month ahead, which is our ultimate goal of this seminar. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Pastor Randall or Brother Alex. All right, let's get into the content.
Net worth and payoff. Take it out.
Yep. So when we're looking at net worth, that is all your household assets minus all your household debts. So remember, we got the definitions for those earlier. So assets are everything that you own. Debts are everything you owe money on. And so your net worth, as far as a financial sense, is just taking whatever your assets are minus your debts. And it's as simple as that. Now, taking a look at asset and debt examples. So again, assets are that ownership that you have, and debts are the amounts you owe. So assets could be like your cash, your investments you have, the part of your home or real estate that you own. So that's your equity in your house, your car equity, which would be whatever your loan, the value of it is minus that remaining loan that you got on there. And whereas the debts would be things like the outstanding balance or the remaining amount on your mortgage, car loan, credit cards, student loans, so on and so forth. And so looking at the next stuff we've got here, we've got a paper that I put together for you guys. On the front side of it, it has a debt list, and on the back of it, it has a debt payoff table. So we're going to first go to that front side that has the debt list, and it says it right up at the top in that bold lettering. So what you'll do whenever you go home, because I imagine not everybody has all their information with them right here, right now. So what you'll do is you're going to list out all of your debts that you have. If it's a mortgage, if it's a credit card, if it's a this or a that, anything that you got, list it out. What you're going to do is you're going to go on there and you're going to list out the balance, the interest rate, the minimum payment, what type of loan it is, all that kind of stuff. Now that first page is really just to get it all right there. That's just to get all your debts in one spot so you can see, okay, this is what I'm working with. Now on the back side of that page where it says the debt payoff table, what we're going to do on that side is you're going to start with row number 1. It says it over on the left, number 1. And what you'll do is you're going to organize them from the smallest balance to the largest. So we're going to start at the very top with the smallest one.
A lot of people, how many of you have seen Dave Ramsey's stuff? Some people have used Dave Ramsey's stuff. It's wonderful. It's great. Alex and I decided not to go that route, and here's the reason why.
Oh, okay.
And this is the difference in what I believe, what we're showing you versus what he is. Dave Ramsey says your work to have zero debt, no debt whatsoever. That's okay. That's a wonderful thing. That is the ultimate goal. However, as you're going through life, there are some debt that is actually not bad debt. In other words, if your debt has been an investment for you, like your home, your mortgage, you're actually going to end up making money on your home. So that's not a bad thing. If you can get equity into a car, that's not a bad debt. In other words, if your debt makes you money, it's not a bad debt, okay? Mm-hmm. So we're going to give you the distinguish about, but here's the problem with debt, okay? The main thing, and I think we even said this before, the problem is that you're not using your own money. You're paying somebody else to use their money. That is the problem with any type of debt. So what you want to do is pay down as much debt as possible. And so that's why we say, and this is going to be a psychological, emotional, and spiritual thing, okay? Yep. And this is very, very important. Go after your smallest debt first. Mm-hmm. Here's why. You need a win in your life. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things, one of the hardest things that we ever go through, especially when we get in debt, is feeling like I'm never going to get out of debt, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like all this is on top of me. If I could pay down a $500 credit card in a month or 2 months and pay that off, that's a win for me. Yeah. So I just proved to myself that I could do it. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to then go attack the next largest debt. And then I'm going to go attack the next largest debt. And it's going to cause a snowball effect. and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't realize until we were going through this, and it's so powerful what Alex is about to teach you. And y'all, this is the part I really, really want you to get. If you're going through your ledger and you're really working it and you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, Alex is about to show you how you're going to be able to get out of debt, and it's not going to cost you 1 penny extra out of your budget. Now, that's incredible. Yep. Because most of the time, people say, in order to get to debt, you're going to have to make extra money, extra money, extra money. You don't. Everybody here within your budget has the ability to pay off debt no matter how much it is. It's a matter of discipline, it's a matter of accountability, and it's a matter of making it work for you. And if you don't work it, it won't work. Yep. But I promise you, what he's about to show you can change your life. And this is so powerful. This will get you to where you can afford anything that you want, and this will get you out of debt, and it'll put you a month ahead. Watch this.
Yep. So looking at that debt payoff table, like I said, we're going to start with the smallest balance. That's going to be your number one priority. That's your first thing to attack, because we're going to, like Pastor said, we're going to get that win first off. And then what we're going to do, and I won't jump ahead. Okay, let me go ahead and pull this up for you. So this is our debt snowball method. So this starts with the smallest balance, and it works down from there. Now, what you're going to do during this process is you're going to pay all your regular monthly payments on all of your debts. You're not going to skip anything. We want you to still pay your creditors. But what we're going to do is any additional money that you have as a result of your ledger process, you're going to take that and stack it on top of that smallest one first, and you're going to just speed up that process of paying it off. And so we've got some cool stuff I'll show you here in just a second. So let's see, take extra money. Yep. Yeah. And so once that first smallest debt is paid off, what we're going to do is we're going to take not only the extra amount that we created in our ledger, but we're also going to take that minimum monthly payment from the old one that's now paid off, and we're going to stack that as well on top of the next one. So it's going to speed it up where it's faster and faster and faster.
And this is where the discipline part comes in, because you're going to see how all of a sudden extra money. But you don't take that extra money and go spend it. You take it to pay off that debt. But you've already got all your wants.
Yep.
You've already got your budget. Yep. You don't need this money. Everybody got it. Mm-hmm. This is not a go, I can now have a go get a vacation. That's where we all mess up. Because when we get that extra money, we go, oh, I want to go buy this. No, don't buy this. All your needs are met. Look at your budget. Your needs are met, and most of all of your wants are met. Now, if you want to be able to afford that thing later on, do this now.
Yep.
And then you won't ever have to borrow from anybody else. But you can see how this begins to generate, and it's not costing you 1 penny more.
No.
Again, the simple explanation is you begin to stack. So let's just take this one step at a time and look at this. Check this out. So let's just say, and I'm going to let Alex go through it, but what he's explained to you is this. Let's say you have a minimum payment of $25 on a debt, okay? You've been paying that $25. That's already built into your ledger. You've got that much. Well, then you come to the end of your month and you've got $150 left over. Well, now let's take that $150 and stack it on that $25 and pay next month's bill. Does that make sense? And then what's going to happen is that bill is going to come down, down, down until it's paid off. Then you're going to take that $150 plus that minimum $25 that you're used to paying. It's already built into your budget, and now you're up to $175 that you can put on your next largest bill. You see? And it's not costing you 1 penny more. You're still living within your budget. You got that? Yep. So he's going to show you the diagram here.
Yep. So I actually took the exact same thing that I handed out to y'all. So this is the exact same layout and all of it. So what this is Debbie Debt. That is our example for this. And she's wanting to get out of debt, or out of the unnecessary debts, we should say. So with this, we went ahead and listed out, she went to the seminar today. Y'all didn't see her, but she came and she's about to go home with y'all. But what she did is she went home and she listed out all the different ones. She went and looked through her website. She looked through her app on her phone, all the different things to find out all this information. Now, some of this for this specific strategy is not going to be as important because we're, of course, mainly focusing on the balance and how we're going to pay them down in that way. But this will help present you with the information that consists of how much your monthly payment is and how aggressive that interest rate is going to be. Some of these credit cards, I gave the example earlier of 29.99%. I've heard 34%. I've heard stuff that's even larger than that. But this is going to be good for you to see everything that you have all in one snapshot right there. Because if you're thinking, oh, I got a mortgage over here somewhere and I got some credit cards over there, you're not going to really understand or see how everything's broken down and what you're facing up against. So the next slide here is we went through and we completed her debt payoff table. So we started up at the very top and we had her Discover credit card. She's got one at 29.99%. That is ugly, ugly, ugly. So that was actually her smallest balance. That was $712 that she's got left on that debt. Now, like we talked about with this process, she's going to make all the regular minimum monthly payments on all of them. She's not going to miss payments. We don't want to jack her credit up or anything. But what we're going to do is, if you remember that $150 that we had from the example earlier where we had that extra $150 we saved up from the ledger, let's imagine if she started taking that and applying that as extra onto that Discover credit card. And actually what I'll do here, I've got a different example for her. I actually started her out with even less. So let's say that she finds an extra $50, which I hopefully we'll be able to find much more than that in your ledger for you. But I'm just giving you a bare bones example. So she's taking that $50 a month, and she's already making that $30 and all those other payments that are coming through on the minimum monthly amounts. But she's taking that $50 as an extra payment on top of that credit card. Now, what we'll see as we're going through is that once she gets that top one paid off, remember the minimum monthly payment was $30. Now she's got nothing left on there, so she no longer has to make that monthly payment. So what she does is she takes that $30 plus the $50 that she started out with. Now she's dumping $80 onto that next one, so it's going to speed up even faster. And as we go through on the next one, she's got the next one paid off. So now she's dumping an extra $105. Now this has not cost her anything extra. She already had it budgeted in. And so what she's doing, she's just pulling from the money that she already had. And what she's doing is she's paying it down even faster every single time. So we'll hit the next one. So instead now she got paid off her Rooms to Go credit card. She got that dining room set paid off finally. And so now she has an extra $140. Now that she's got that Signature loan paid off, she's now dumping an extra $307 every month onto it. And like we said, this has not cost her an extra dime out of anything. She's already budgeted for it, and this is extra money that she's now redirecting because she's not having to pay it to Discover and TJ Maxx. She can cover it into all those extra debt pay down methods. So we definitely believe that this is going to be a fantastic process for you. And the interesting thing about it is if you are in this stage where you're needing to pay down those unnecessary debts, that extra $307, once you get through paying them off, then you'll take that portion and start redirecting it towards getting a month ahead. And you'll redirect it once you get a month ahead towards the other wealth generating processes. So you can see we have laid it out where if you're in a bad spot and you are just struggling with debt, we've got you the full process of how to get out of that and a month ahead to where you never have to worry about living paycheck to paycheck ever again. So yeah, that was just a little example of how she worked through the debt table and how that helped her pay down some other things.
Anybody have questions about that? Does that make sense? And you can see how this is not costing you anything. This is amazing how this works because now you can see I'm not doing anything but redirecting the money that I already have to pay down my debt. So you're not sitting there stressed about what am I going to do to make extra money to pay this debt off. It's already built in for you. It's already there if you budget through the month. Monthly budget is the key. Making sure that you're generating. And the thing about it is, again, generating that extra money because that's the only way this is going to work is with that money that you're generating extra, okay? That you've already gotten. And again, it's not costing you much because you're making the same amount of money in your paycheck every single time. That's not going to change. So as long as that doesn't change, well, hopefully it'll increase. That would be even better. But as long as it does that, it's never going to cost you one penny more, and you're going to start getting out of debt. So the debt payoff checklist.
Yep. So here's just a quick little recap of everything with that debt payoff checklist. So what you're going to do is write out all your debts on your debt list. You're going to take that information, organize it. Yeah, they've all got the sheets in there. So they're going to organize it on your debt payoff list. What you're going to do is you're going to write them all out on your list. Then you're going to strategize and order them on your debt payoff table so that you know exactly which one you're going to just attack first. And then from there, you're going to set some time frame goals. Sit with your spouse and say, hey, this is the debts that we've got. Here's the order we're going to work in. How quickly do we want to get these paid off? Because that'll give you a set time frame that you want to work hard toward and get those unnecessary debts taken care of. And like we said, add what you can at the end of every month as extra payments to the smallest one. And track your progress on a recurring basis. So once a month or every few months, just something so that you're staying on track with everything and you're seeing, oh, okay, here's the progress that I'm making so far. And the big thing is celebrate your victories.
Exactly.
You've made some huge changes. You are now turning the ship. You are not floating down the river that's about to go straight into the iceberg. You're about to go straight towards wealth generation. But it's a process that's going to take some time for you to get through, but celebrate those pieces as you go along. Because, hey, it's like if a football team scores a touchdown during the game. They haven't won the game yet, but are they just not going to celebrate? No, they're going to have a ball. They're going to sit there and jump around and high five and all the other dumb stuff us guys do when we get excited. But celebrate those little victories you have along the way.
The next thing is when we were talking a while ago about the difference in good debts and bad debts, there are some debts that are not necessarily bad, okay? Again, it's one of those things where, yes, you want to become completely debt-free, but if your debt can end up in the long run making you money, that is not a bad thing at all. A funny thing is this, a lot of millionaires, including your president, borrowed the money to get rich. Now, I'm not recommending that. I'm not recommending that. Do not go take $1 million loan and invest it. Don't do that. I'm not recommending that you do that, okay? But he used debt to create wealth for himself. But one of these debts that is not a bad debt is a mortgage. A mortgage debt is not a bad debt. It is a wonderful thing to be paid off completely. But understand that this debt is a long-term investment of making money. Because at some point, you are going to sell that house or not. You're going to get the equity out of your house at some point. So that is not necessarily a bad debt. Now, of course, if you pay it down, then you get all the equity that's in it. That's a great thing, but it is making you money. Another thing is a car loan. Now, you have to be very careful with car loans. Used to, a car loan was a bad thing because as soon as you drove the car off the lot, it depreciated. Well, now with the value of everything going crazy, y'all, there are used cars that are more valuable than new cars now. It's crazy. So you can actually, if you're smart, you can actually use these things to benefit you in the long run. One of the things is this, and this is very, very smart. This is what Sherry and I have done in order to maintain a low car payment. What we do is we save money for a down payment on a car. And this automatically puts you in a place to where you have a lower car payment. For instance, like my truck right now, I've got a 2017, I don't have a brand new truck, but I've got a 2017 Ford F-150 that I put $10,000 down, and my payment is $240 a month. Some people have a $900 car payment, y'all, and that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
No.
Don't do that. Do not do that, because all you're doing is you're killing yourself. You're putting yourself way in over your head. If you have a car payment that is close to your house payment, you've got a problem.
Or more than.
Yeah, that is a severe problem. Your priorities are not correct. Your priorities are not right. You need to do research and do these things. Yeah, exactly. Pay yourself down.
Yep.
So looking at mortgage, home equity lines of credit, auto loans, student loans, should they be paid early? Things to consider is this. Is the interest rate above 6 to 7%? Yes, try to get that thing paid down as much as you can. But if you have a low car interest rate like 3% like I do, you're okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You see the difference? So don't go refinancing and get a higher interest rate. So look at those things and consider them. Are you planning to retire in the next 3 to 4 years? Then you need to be looking at paying off as much as you possibly can. But if not, it might not be necessarily a bad thing to keep some of that debt. Now, this is the biggest one, y'all. If that debt is causing you stress and anxiety, I don't care how good of a debt it is. Get out of it. Get rid of it.
No,
that thing will
ain't doing
destroy you. It'll absolutely destroy your life. And then again, cars, we just talked about that. If you owe more than you own on it, you're in trouble. Being upside down in a car is one of the worst things you can be in, okay? However, listen to me very carefully, and this is some advice you're probably not going to hear from anybody else. If you are upside down in a piece of junk, if you're going to be upside down anyway, it's better to take that upside down equity and invest in a newer car that is going to get you from point A to point B. Okay?
Yeah.
And then slowly work to pay down that debt. Do not be upside down in a hunk of junk, because that you're just killing yourself.
Exactly.
Killing yourself, okay? If you can make it to where you can afford the payment within your budget, then it's better to go and finance a new car and take that ugly credit or that ugly debt equity or that upside down equity and put it into that newer car, because that newer car is going to be much more valuable and you'll get positive equity a whole lot faster doing it that way. Just some advice that, because if not, you're going to be dumping so much money into that car, and you could have gotten a much better car, because everything's going to be breaking down on you every 5 miles, and you're going to spend more money in oil than gas, and so that's not smart. So anyway, that is just some things to consider when you're looking at paying off your debt. But y'all, seriously, the first thing you want to do is get out of credit card debt.
Yes.
Get out of credit card debt as fast as you can and tear that thing up like Sister Linda said. Tear it up, get rid of it. You don't need it. One of the greatest things you'll ever be at is whenever you can borrow from yourself.
Yep.
Your goal is to have enough money in your savings that you are your own credit card. Borrow from yourself and pay yourself back with interest. You will be a wealthy person.
Yeah, and I do have a verse here that I found in research that shows us the importance of paying off debt responsibly. So it's actually Psalm chapter 37, verse 21. Again, that is Psalm 37, 21. It says, "The wicked borrows and does not pay back, but the righteous is gracious and gives."
That's
so that
right.
goes kind of back to what we were talking about rich versus wealthy. Rich, they have a lot of debts they're having to worry about, and if one disaster happens, they're up the creek without a paddle. Whereas somebody who's on that wealthy side, they're gracious, they give, they do all the right things, and they keep God above everything else. But whenever we come to paying down any unnecessary debts, because like we talked about, there's going to be some that you're going to have throughout life. Not too much of it, hopefully, but we definitely want to have the unnecessary ones taken care of. After that point, save your money. Save your money.
Look at somebody say save.
Save your money. So first, what we want to point out is, because this is, again, we're working on the small victories, the easy things to get accomplished. So first, get $1,000 saved in a separate savings account specifically for emergencies. That's not your savings to go to Honolulu. That is not your savings for that new TV. That is savings for my tire went flat. What do? That is savings for we had to go to the hospital and I've got a bill. That is emergency critical savings that you need to take care of with that money. Now, the crazy part, I actually found this out while doing some research for my job. Found out that a good portion of Americans don't even have that saved up. Most folks are living truly paycheck to paycheck, and they're just dwindling that account down close to zero every single month. So just this fact alone is going to put you above the majority of Americans. So that part we're going to get you to first. And then once you get that $1,000 saved up in a separate savings account, then we're going to focus on getting 1 month ahead in that budget. That thing is going to be fantastic. I'll give you just a little bit of transparency here. Me and Ash, we have done very diligent with our savings and things, and we've even gotten to where now we're past a month ahead. So we've got not only everything taken care of for the month of April, since we're almost done with that, but we've got May taken care of. I don't have to worry about, am I going to be able to pay our rent and our utilities and all these other things? I could take it from my savings account and dump it in there if I lost my job tomorrow, God forbid. Yeah, I could live off of that for a set period of time. And it is just so peaceful, and we have joy knowing that we have that money set aside for any kind of weird, wacky events. Because Jesus himself said that in this life there will be tribulation. So it's not like we're going to go, what? Whenever something crazy comes up, it's going to happen. So we're being prepared for it, and we're having that money set aside. And getting a month ahead is already going to be a huge, huge thing. So you want to give the breakdown on the month ahead?
It's an incredible thing. And when Sherry and I learned this process, it took all of our stress away, y'all. And I'm not kidding. I'm not talking about normal daily stress. I'm talking about financial stress, because financial stress in a marriage is probably the worst stress that there is. And the reason why is because most arguments are over money when it comes to marriage. And that's a shame. Sherry and I don't even think we argue over money because we don't worry about it. Like I told you, all of May's bills are already paid. The money's waiting on us to get there. And we learn to live a month ahead. Like Alex just said, once you get out of this unnecessary debt, start saving your money. Get yourself $1,000 savings account and put it aside and leave it alone. Don't act like you don't even have it.
Nope.
Okay, because it's going to be there. And if you can get it at a high yield, that's even better. Put it over there, let it make you some money. But then the next step of this is generating money. Once you're paying off your debts, once you're out of debt, once you're saving, you want to get a month ahead. Now, what this simply means is this. It's the most stress-free living that you're ever going to have for you and your family, and you will never, ever, ever again have to worry about money.
That's right.
Living paycheck to paycheck, y'all, is one of the most uncomfortable situations that you can find yourself in. Because the reason why, if you're having to wait, and this is so many people in so many different so many situations, but if you're having to wait for your next paycheck to be able to do things that you need to do right now, you're not living financially free.
No.
It's a miserable, miserable thing to say, well, I'm not going to be able to do that until next week. Y'all, that is one of the worst things whenever you've got something that you want to do, or you want to be able to spend something, and you say, well, I'm not going to get paid till next Friday. I'm having to wait until then to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. When you're doing that, what you're doing is you're basically putting yourself in a poverty mentality, because you're saying, I won't be able to. And whenever you're saying that, you're speaking on yourself that I'm not there. I'm not viable. I'm not wealthy. I can't do it. That's one of the worst things you can ever do. Yeah. Sherry and I have adopted a saying, is that when we look at somebody and we say, I don't have the money to do that, we're not saying we don't have the money. We're saying I don't have the money to do that. It's priorities.
Yep.
It's priorities. I've got the money to do whatever I want to do or need to do, but it might not necessarily be for that. And too many times what we do is we put ourselves in a situation whenever we say, I don't have the money, I don't have the money, I don't have the money. Well, you keep speaking to yourself, and you do that, you're never going to have the money.
Right. Exactly.
So what you need to learn to do is say, I don't have the money for that. See the difference? It isn't that you don't have the money, it's that I don't have the money for that, and that'll change your spending habits, and it'll help you. So what happens is this. Whenever your money that you're making today is paying for next month's bills, because next month's bills were already paid last month, that is the greatest thing you'll ever get to. Sherry and I are able to now, every time we earn a paycheck, we're able to just deposit right into our savings, and it sits there until next month, and draws interest for us.
Yep.
And then when that month rolls around, we take a whole month's entire budget, we dump it into our checking account, we pay all of our bills off. It's that simple. How in the world did you do that? Because we ate pork and beans. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And we did.
And they used the ledger properly.
Yeah, and we used the ledger. We use it religiously. Why? Because I didn't want to live in that forever. I was tired of living in that situation. And so we scrimped, we scraped, we didn't eat out. Now, if you want to get there, these are things that you have to do. You got to sacrifice now to be able to live that way when you get there.
Yep.
The only thing that you're going to have when you get there is what you send ahead.
Exactly.
That's the way it works, 100%. So we scrimped and we scraped, and we did. We ate Spam, pork and beans. There was times we went without meal. We ate 1 meal a day. What? Yeah. Because I was determined that I'm not going to live like this forever. I was determined. And one of the biggest things that Sherry and I learned, and this helped us more than anything else, is that I'm tired of trying to keep up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. The Joneses are not paying my bills. And y'all, it was a point to where Sherry and I had to learn to say no. We had to, when people wanted to do things with us, we had to learn to say, no, we can't. Not that I don't have the money to do it, because I could have borrowed the money. I could have put more money on the credit card. I could have done it, but that wasn't the point. The point was that we were trying to make ourselves look like something that we were not.
Yep.
If the Joneses could afford to do it, the Hunts couldn't. So we had to start looking like the Hunts and not the Joneses. And y'all, the thing about it is if that's going to cost you a friendship, they weren't your friend in the first place.
Exactly. Yep.
If that's going to cost you an acquaintance, they weren't your acquaintance. Nope. They were nothing to you. I had to look for future goals. I had to look, because listen, the thing I realized is I had to stand before God, and God was not going to look at me and say, how good did you pastor the church of Cedar Creek? He was going to look at me and he was going to say, how good did you take care of Sherry and Adam and Ashley? And that's what he's going to look at every man in this place and do.
Yep.
And he's going to look at every woman and say, how did you meet the need with your husband? That's what it's going to come down to. And so with that in mind, my mentality had to shift, and I had to understand, wait a minute, I can't be like this forever. I've got to dig my way out. And so, yeah, we sacrificed, but we sacrificed like crazy. And again, I tell you, it took us 6 years, but we didn't get in $36,000 in debt in just 6 years. That was a lot longer than that. That was years and years and years and years. But we made up our mind. And on our 7th year, we celebrated because we were debt free. And we've lived there ever since. And I still don't make a lot of money. It's not a matter about that. Like Alex said that from the beginning. Wealth is not dependent about how much money you make. Wealth is dependent about how do you use the money that you make.
Yep.
And you can generate this, and you can get a month ahead, and you just start today. Make up your mind, I'm going to do it. Start today. Start sacrificing. Start doing the things that you need to do today.
And I've got something, I think the Lord just dropped this on me, so hopefully this sticks. But how many of us feel like the Lord is going to be sending us a financial blessing soon?
Maybe.
How many of us feel like it's going to be in the future? Well, who says He's not passing it in pieces to you right now to save up for?
That's right.
He is giving us all the resources. He says He will supply all our needs according to His riches in glory in Christ Jesus. So all our needs are met, and that's current needs and future needs. We can pay for all the current stuff right now through our ledger, but we can also go ahead and properly plan for those future needs that we have down the road. He's already pouring out that favor and that blessings to us right now, but it's a matter of how do you use it.
And here's the formula for getting a month ahead. Here it is. Once your debt's paid down, transfer the money that you were making, those payments. You've already put, all those payments. And again, it's not costing you anything. So by this time, I think, what was her name?
It was $307 that Debbie Debt was paying for
Debt.
those extra
There you go. She had $307. All right, so she's got that. So you take that money, now you transfer that into a savings account, into a high-yield savings account. Anytime, now this is crucial right here, y'all. Anytime you've got a birthday and somebody's going to give you gifts, what do you ask for?
Money.
Money. Where do you put it?
In your savings.
That's savings. You see what I'm saying? Because you're going to have a birthday every year. And listen, y'all, the thing about it is don't shy away from a party. Have everybody throw you a party and invite everybody and ask them to give me money. I'm not kidding. That's not selfish. You're trying to get a month ahead.
Hey, shall men give unto your bosom?
They love you. They want to celebrate with you. People are like, I don't know. You get it. They're not going to come if they don't love you. And if they love you, they're going to support you. And you know what? When they say, what would you like for your birthday? The answer is
money.
Got it. That's how you do it. Any other type of gift that you receive from somebody, no matter if it's a Christmas gift, what do you ask for? Money. Why? Because I'm trying to get ahead. And again, where do you deposit? Right into that savings account. Yep. Ask for money. Do odds and ends and small jobs for others. We talked about that. Make extra money. Every time you make it, don't spend it. Put it where? Put it in your savings. Exactly right. Go through your house, find these items that you no longer use. Have a yard sale, online sale, marketplace. Again, all those things we talked about. Put it in savings. Take clothing items you no longer wear to a consignment store. Make that money and put it in savings. A little work goes a long way, y'all. Any type of service that you can provide for somebody else that's going to generate you money, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Put it in that savings. A little bit of work right now goes a long way. And most importantly, change your spending habits.
Yeah.
That's key to this whole entire thing, y'all. You've got to begin to think about not how much I can spend now, but getting a month ahead so that I can take all of this stress. The less that you spend, the quicker it's going to happen. So once you save this full month's budget, because your goal is, if we go back to that budget of the Pinchertons, there was 4,300. Their goal is to save 4,000, whatever it was. What was it?
4,500 and something else.
Their goal is to save 4,570. Because why? That's a whole month's budget. So that is a goal that you set for yourself.
Yep.
You look at your budget, you say, okay, now my goal is, now if you're already out of debt, you can go ahead and start doing this today. My goal is to save this amount of money. How much is my monthly budget?
Yep.
Okay, that's my goal. Because as soon as you save that, you're a month ahead. Isn't that awesome? Mm-hmm. So when you save all that up at the beginning of the first of the month, you take that entire amount that you've saved up, you deposit it into your checking or your budget account. Guess what? Your whole month is paid for.
Boom.
Wait, what? Yeah. All your bills are paid. You can go ahead and pay everyone on. Your budget, you've been living by the same budget. You ain't got to worry about nothing. And then next paycheck you get, where is it going to go? Savings. And this thing will begin to snowball and get bigger and bigger. And pretty soon, your savings are going to increase and you'll be a month and a half ahead, 2 months ahead. Can you imagine getting 6 months ahead? Then you can come to the next seminar and you're going to learn how to take that and become an extremely wealthy person. I'm telling you, this is how it works. It really, really is.
Yeah. So I've got some things to send y'all home with. This is some stuff going forward. Okay. So first off, if you haven't been tithing, start immediately. Don't wait around on it because you are missing out. I can testify of the Lord's goodness through being obedient in tithing. So first off, make sure you are doing that if you aren't doing it every single time you get paid. Next thing I want you to do is to discuss finances with your spouse. Take some time. Y'all can sit down at dinner. You can turn off the TV for 10, 15 minutes and just talk about your money. See how everything's looking. See what your goals are. See if y'all are on the same way. Each of y'all in your little packet should have, here it is, at the very end, it should have some check-in questions. So this is to check in and see how you are thinking about it. Now, complete this separately from your spouse. Each of y'all go through it individually at your own time and then come together and talk about it. See, okay, do y'all have the same answers to, are you and your spouse always in agreement on finances? If one of you feels like, yeah, and the other one's like, no, then y'all got something to fix. This will give y'all all the insight to how each other's thinking. You might say, well, what do you think how our money's doing? It's doing good. Well, that doesn't help. Well, this is going to give you the actual stuff that you can compare with your spouse. You can say, okay, what did you get for this answer? What did you write down? What's your thoughts on this? It's even got little spots to elaborate on what you think and how you process all your thoughts on y'all's money. So this gives you a straightforward way for y'all to sit down, have a little money date night, and just go at it. Look, this is going to bring y'all into a point of understanding with one another and then allow you to come into agreement. And that's going to be such a powerful force going forward. Next thing is going to be, and do this if you can, do this week before next month starts.
Quick as you can.
Do it as quickly as you can. Set your budget. Set up what each of those amounts are that's going to be going across the top of your ledger all the way from left to right. And if y'all need any more pictures of that, I can go back to it at the end here. Set up your debt strategy. Jot them all down on your debt list, all the different types and the balances and things, and then go on the back table, list them from your top to bottom as far as what order you're going to attack them in, because that'll give you the steps of how you want to progress through everything. Then guess what? Every single month while you're going throughout the month, use your ledger. That's going to track your expenses. That's what's going to free up some of that money for you, or help you take charge of it a little bit better, I should say.
Oh, let me say this right quick too, right here, Alex. If you are like me and you like to do things digitally, there are plenty of these ledgers online. Okay, you can get right on your laptop. You can downloadable ledger, because I like to just type mine out. But if you're old-fashioned like Sherry, write it down. Sherry will have a notebook, and some people are like that. I'm not. I like digital, so I like to type it out. But either way is fine. But keep up with it. Do not forsake it, y'all. I promise you, that ledger is your business. And you treat it just like it is a business. That's what you do.
All right, excuse me. And then looking forward to that, continue to find ways to cut some expenses or increase your income. That's what's going to free up some of that extra cash every single month that you can use towards getting financially free. And last, but this shouldn't be last, I should include one extra. It says to get a month ahead. So obviously that's our goal. No matter what stage you are in this process that we're discussing today, if you got to pay down debt, your ultimate goal is to get a month ahead as a result of this seminar. If you've got $200 in your check or a savings account, get a month ahead. Everybody's got all the ingredients, the strategies, every little bit of it from start to finish on how to get to that ultimate goal of getting a month ahead. Now, this next seminar, that should be my last bullet point, is sign up for the next one whenever we let out the registration. Because that one's really going to be more on the wealth generation side going forward. And with our conclusion, we definitely want to address this. Everything belongs to God. Everybody read it out real quick. Everything belongs to God. So look, 1 Corinthians 10:26, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. So by learning the principles on which God's economy operates, we can successfully participate in His economy and receive the very best that He has for us, which I know is some good stuff.
Congratulations, you've made it through Financial Seminar Level 1. In this seminar, we've covered some important financial definitions. We've covered how to budget your money and have it work for you, ways to save more and make more money, as well as ways to effectively pay down debt and become a month ahead. Take what you've learned in this seminar, continue to learn even more so that you can become the best steward of God's money you possibly can be.